Is it a fist of arrogance or a cupped palm of sacrifice that you have assumed? Can you digest this fact? What is this world, Arjun? Humans, demons, animals, birds, parasites, insects, fishes, trees. How are all these created? What substance are they created from? How do they function and how do they survive? How do they die? And what happens after death? Ponder upon this secret. Arjun said, a human body is made from dirt, Krishna. Water flows through it as blood and other humus. Fire gives the body heat. And the blank voids in the body consist of space. Therefore, earth, wind, water, fire and space. Krishna said, the body is created from these 5 base elements. Therefore, Grandsire Bhishma, Master Drona are nothing more than earth, water, wind, fire and space. Even the learned scholars are comprised of 5 base elements and so are the tyrants. So, what are you pining for, Arjun? For dirt? Arjun asked, but Krishna, it is through this body made of dirt that humans assume their identities. All bonds are rooted in this body made of dirt. Krishna said, no, Arjun. If this were true, then why is one's body destroyed post-death? In reality, neither is one's identity from his body nor are his relationships rooted in his body. One's behavior and his nature and his deeds are his identity. How are behavior, nature and deeds even created? Comprehend that, Arjun. A human life is a mere harmony of visible and invisible entities, Arjun. Yet every human's nature and his deeds seem to vary vastly. The reason for it is the 3 gunas of nature. Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. Arjun asked, what are these 3 properties, Krishna? Krishna said, tamas means darkness. Spending one's life without presuming about good or bad is said to be tamas-oriented behavior. Just as birds and animals live solely to fulfill their bodily cravings. Sattva means the light of knowledge. When a person, in every circumstance, thinks about justice, truth and tradition before acting, then it is termed as sattva-oriented way of life. Amidst these 2 is such a person who does possess knowledge, but he is also tethered to the desires of body and mind. Such a person lives with an arrogant, which means rajas-oriented mindset. By the very balance of tamas, rajas and sattva gunas, a man's nature is determined. Look ahead, Arjun. What gunas do you see in all of them? Prince Duryodhan knows what is just, but he never acts upon them. His life revolves around arrogance. Therefore, he possesses less of tamas. He possesses more of rajas and sattva is totally absent. And over there is Prince Dushasan. He has always obeyed his elder brother's orders without any forethought. Therefore, he possesses only tamas. Look at Grandsire Bhishma as well, Arjun. He possesses balanced amounts of sattva and tamas. He harbors no arrogance. But he is bound by outdated thoughts and old traditions. Even when the need arises, he cannot break his oath. Look at Master Drona. He possesses both knowledge and arrogance. Knowledge liberates a human, but his arrogance won't let him attain liberation. Arjun asked, but Krishna, if a human's nature is the union of these 3 gunas, is a human's actions predestined? That a lion shall devour a gazelle and a gazelle is bound to fear a lion. Then why is justice vital? Why do crimes need to be punished? What is the purpose of that? Krishna said, a brilliant question, Arjun. But first comprehend what a human being is. A human isn't just the union of the 5 base elements. Not just 5 entities. 5 Gyanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, and 3 gunas. Not even just the union of 23 such entities. In order for a human to walk around function, he needs energy. And energy is termed as Chaitana. Arjun asked, so, Krishna, is a human comprised of Chaitana? Krishna said, no, Arjuna. Along with a human's Chaitana, the union of those 23 entities is creation. Residing in this device called human made of 24 entities is a man, which means a fragment of God. That is termed the soul. When the creation and man become one, which means when a fragment of God resides in one's body as a soul, that is when a human comes to life. What is a soul, Krishna? And what is the means of comprehending it? Just as a human uses a chariot, similarly the soul uses this device called a body. Through the medium of a body, it experiences the joys and sorrows of the body. But the soul is not the body, Arjun. The body can be destroyed, but a soul cannot be destroyed. Ninam chindanti shastrani, ninam dahati pavaka, na chinam kledayanti apo, na society maruta. A soul can neither be pierced by weapons nor can it be burnt with fire. Nor can water render it weak, nor can the wind dry it. Even though a soul resides in the body, it is immortal. Na hanet hanyamane sharir. Arjun, a body can be killed but the soul cannot be killed. A soul is omnipresent, intangible, stable. It is eternal. Just as a man discards old garments and wears new ones, similarly the soul leaves an old body and assumes a new body time and again. Arjun asked, but Krishna, the first experienced the world through my body. Without understanding my very body, how can I understand my soul? Krishna said, knowing oneself in the form of a soul isn't impossible either, Arjun. Even the blind ones live. Even the mute ones live. Those who do not have hands or legs live too. It is clear that the body is not what makes a human. The one who loses his energy or loses his consciousness lives as well. Therefore it is clear that a man's unconscious form isn't the body either. The one who explores within himself in this way. I am neither the indriyas, nor the body, nor the feelings, nor the thoughts, nor am I the thoughts. The one who understands this finally understands himself in the form of a soul. Arjun asked, what is the purpose of a soul, Krishna? Krishna said, when the creation was partitioned and when man and nature were created, then the man, that is the fragment of God, became a soul and dwelled within every entity of creation. That soul was surrounded by desire and darkness, Arjun. Awakening from that slumber of desire and understanding oneself as the fragment of God is the duty, purpose and the goal of a soul. Arjun asked, but Krishna, if every soul is a fragment of God, are progress and hindrance controlled by God himself? Krishna said, just as a jewel lying in dirt does not shimmer, similarly the soul that is surrounded by creation's 24 entities learns that it is the fragment of God. Very often souls assume that their bodies are everything. That they are different from the body itself is never known to them. The joy, sorrow, smell, taste, etc. that the body senses, they assume them to be their experiences and they never strive for change. The souls that do not strive towards change and are constantly committing injustice, punishing them to awaken them is inevitable. You better comprehend this as well, Arjun, that you are not a body but a mere soul. Every warrior seen in this battlefield isn't what you think he is. They have all dwelt within a body for a time period. Their bodies shall die, but they are all immortal. They shall assume new bodies again. Until they do not know themselves as pure souls, until they give up injustice and imbibe justice into themselves, they shall continue to be born and die. This is the first lesson of Brahma Vidya, Arjun. The one who is born shall surely die. And the one who dies shall surely be born again. This great knowledge is called Sankhya Yoga. Arjun asked, what are justice and injustice, Krishna? Krishna said, the path treading which a man sees himself as a soul and knows himself to be a fragment of God. That path is called justice. When a man knows himself to be a fragment of God, he has an epiphany that creation is God and God is creation. There is no difference between creation and God. The human who comprehends this isn't cruel and harsh towards other humans and animals. He knows that amputating an organ causes pain not just to that organ. The pain is experienced by the entire body. Similarly, when one human feels pain, the entire world experiences that pain. As long as even a single human is suffering in this world, no one can feel true pleasure to the fullest until then. Arjun asked, when upon knowing this a human mind is filled with compassion, it is called justice. When one is under the influence of tamas, guna, he becomes harsh, cruel and selfish towards others. Just for the sake of his perceived pleasure, he inflicts sorrow upon others. He cannot grow closer towards God. Therefore, injustice is the path that leads away from God. Therefore, injustice is another name for ignorance. So, one needs to feel pity towards an ignorant one. What is the purpose of punishment? When an ignorant one is unwilling to know the value of knowledge and is unwilling to even glance at knowledge, then punishment is compassion even towards him and towards others as well. For the creation's progress to be always towards God is inevitable. But at times situations arise when ignorance, desire and injustice grow, and justice in the world is at the brink of extinction, and the world is devoid of justice, compassion and truth are both destroyed. In order for the forthcoming generations to get justice, slaying unjust ones today and re-establishing justice is inevitable. Today is a similar situation, Arjun. And the duty to establish justice is yours. Hence overcome your weakness and prepare for this battle. Arjun asked, but murders shall occur at my hands, Krishna. If lives are ended by me, won't that destroy the compassion within me? And if compassion is the basis of justice, won't my soul become unjust? Krishna said, the limit of justice is surely created. But the limit of actions isn't created, Arjun. The difference between actions and deeds is necessary to be understood. All deeds are actions, but all actions aren't deeds. A deed is an action for which an outcome is expected. When one carries out a deed expecting pleasure, wealth and praise, he is bound by the outcome of that action. When a deed is performed with an expectation of an outcome, it is called Sakam Karma Yoga. And when a deed is carried out without expecting an outcome, it is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. This is the very reason he has to be born repeatedly. In reality, a man isn't bound by a deed. The expectations linked to that deed is what bounds him. Arjun asked, Krishna, are you the Almighty Himself? Krishna said, yes, Arjun. Servitude towards me is servitude towards God. Renounce all world and surrender to me, Arjun.